A night before change. Once upon a time, in a vibrant village cradled between rolling hills, anticipation rippled through the air as the sun sank low in the sky, casting a golden hue over Amara's family home. Amara sat on the edge of her bed, adorned with colorful textiles, the fabric reflecting her vibrant spirit. At 24, she was preparing for one of the most significant days of her life, her wedding day. Yet, her heart was a tempest of emotions, swirling with excitement and a nagging sense of fear. The walls of her room whispered stories of her childhood. Each fabric draped around her seemed to carry the laughter of family gatherings and the tender guidance of her late grandmother, whose wisdom still echoed in her mind. "Embrace the winds of change, my child," her grandmother would say, a smile dancing on her lips. But for Amara, the winds felt more like a storm. As she gazed out the window, the village below busied itself with preparations. She could hear the rhythmic clapping of hands and the gentle strumming of instruments. Soon, the vibrant pavilion would be adorned with flowers, elaborate decorations, and the joyous sounds that heralded the beginning of her new life with Kofi, the kind farmer who had captured her heart. Yet, as dusk wrapped its arms around the day, her excitement was overshadowed by worries that gnawed at her. Would she be the wife Kofi deserved? What if she couldn't fulfill the expectations placed upon her? And who would she be after stepping into this new chapter? As if sensing her turmoil, her elder brother, Nuru, entered her room. Tall and sturdy, with warm eyes that mirrored their mother's, Nuru had always been her protector. He paused in the doorway, concern etching his features. "Amara, are you all right?" he asked, his voice a gentle balm. "I am," she replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. But Nuru knew her too well. "I can see through your brave face, sister," he said, stepping into the room and sitting beside her. "You can share your burdens with me." Amara looked down, fiddling with the fringes of her dress. I don't know what lies ahead, Nuru. The wedding, the responsibilities. What if I'm not enough?" Nuru took a deep breath, contemplating his sister's fears. He had always been her compass, guiding her through life's uncertainties. "Change is daunting, but it's also beautiful," he began softly. "Remember when we climbed the hills as children, breathless with laughter? We didn't know what lay at the top, but the journey was worth every step." "But this is different," she said, voice quivering. "This is marriage. It feels like I'm leaving everything I know behind." Nuru's brow furrowed, sensing the gravity of her words. "You will always be my sister. No matter the path you choose, our bond will not break. You carry our family's love with you." Tears welled in Amara's eyes. She had always relied on Nuru's strength, but now, he was also her emotional anchor. "Promise me you won't forget me, even when I'm married and have my own life," she whispered. "Amara, you will never be forgotten. You will always hold a special place in my heart," he assured her, reaching out to grasp her hand. In that intimate moment of vulnerability, Amara felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. She squeezed Nuru's hand, anchoring herself to the love that defined their siblinghood. "Will you stay with me tonight?" she finally dared to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. Nuru's expression softened, and he hesitated only for a moment before nodding. "Of course. I'll always be here for you." Gratitude surged in Amara as they settled into comfortable silence, the weight of her worries momentarily lifted. Together, they shared stories from their childhood, laughter cascading through the room as they fell into the warmth of shared memories. The mischievous pranks they had played, the lullabies sung under starlit skies, and the secrets whispered in the dark. Each memory acted as a thread binding them closer together, a tapestry woven from love and familiarity. As the evening deepened, the sounds of celebrations in the village grew louder, the energy palpable even from their quiet sanctuary. But within that room, a different connection blossomed, a bridge between the sister who was stepping toward a new destiny and the brother who would always cherish the past. In the embrace of laughter and memories, Amara began to feel a sense of peace wash over her. She realized that no matter the changes that awaited her, the love of her brother would remain a steady light guiding her through the unknown. Against the backdrop of soft shadows and the warm glow of evening light, they drifted into a gentle silence, cocooned in the bonds of family. In this, the most significant night of her life, Amara found solace not in the promises of marriage yet to come, but in the enduring love of a brother and the memories that would forever shape her path. As she closed her eyes, she felt ready to face whatever the morning would bring, empowered by the strength of their unbreakable bond. The sibling pact. As the evening shadows deepened, Amara and Nuru settled into a comfortable rhythm of conversation, their previous fears momentarily overshadowed by shared laughter and the warmth of familiarity. Just as Amara felt her worries begin to dissolve, a soft knock on the door interrupted them. It was their mother, carrying a tray laden with steaming chamomile tea and sweet confections. "Thought you might need these," she said with a radiant smile, placing the tray on the wooden table. The scent of the tea filled the room with a soothing aroma, while the delicate pastries sparkled with sugar. A little bit of comfort for the night before a momentous occasions. "Thank you, Mama," Amara replied, her voice softer, reflecting her lingering uncertainty. Her mother, with her gentle resilience and nurturing spirit, seemed to sense the shift in atmosphere. She joined them, settling onto the edge of Amara's bed, her hands resting on her daughter's knees. "What troubles you, my dear?" she asked, her eyes searching Amara's face as if looking for shadows she could dispel with her light. I just want everything to be perfect tomorrow," Amara confessed, stirring the tea absent-mindedly. "What if I disappoint everyone?" Her mother's gaze softened, a knowing smile playing on her lips. "Perfection is an illusion, sweet girl. What truly matters is the love that binds you to Kofi and to our family. But if you need extra support tonight, I'm sure your brother can help." Nuru met Amara's eyes, his expression encouraging. "I'll always have your back, you know that. Besides, it's our pact," he teased lightly, trying to lift the heavy mood. "Pact?" their mother asked curiously, her brow arched. "We promised each other that no matter what happened, we would always support each other through life's challenges," Nuru explained, the sincerity in his tone breaking through the remnants of Amara's worry. "Especially today, with everything changing." "Ah, a sibling pact," their mother repeated, nodding thoughtfully. "There's a strength in that. Never underestimate the power of loving supports." The notion of a pact ignited something within Amara. A quiet courage began to blanket her fear. "I want to ask you both for something," she said, her voice steadying. "Tonight, will you both promise not just to support me, but also to help me reconnect with who I am? I don't want to lose myself in becoming a wife." Nuru's expression turned earnest. "Of course, Amara. Together, we can face this change. No one gets lost on my watch." Amara smiled, feeling the genuine weight of their words wrap around her like the warm fabrics draped in her room. "It's settled then. The three of us will embark on this journey together." After they toasted with cups of tea, the siblings settled into the soft, deep conversations of their childhood. They reminisced about countless adventures, climbing trees to build secret forts, racing along the riverbank, and the games they concocted in the fields that stretched endlessly beneath a vast sky. "We were fearless back then," Amara laughed, recalling how they once attempted to catch fireflies, only to end up knee-deep in mud by the river. Nuru chuckled, "And you cried like a baby when we found a frog instead." Their mother laughed along, her eyes sparkling with nostalgia. "You two were inseparable. There was never a dull moment with you boths." As stories flowed, their bond deepened into unshakable roots, grounding them as the looming wedding day approached. Amara felt rejuvenated by the laughter echoing around her, realizing that her fears were shared, and she wasn't alone in her apprehensions. The conversation eventually shifted to plans for the wedding. Together, they began to envision the decorations, the music, and the joyful faces of family members. Each idea, each twist and turn of anticipation, crafted a picture of tomorrow that slowly began to replace her dread with excitement. When the clock chimed midnight, the room fell silent, bathed in the soft glow of the oil lamp illuminating the corners of their sanctuary. As the tea cooled, Amara clutched her brother's arm. "Promise me you'll remind me who I am if I falter on this journey." "We will," Nuru vowed, squeezing her hand back. "You are Amara, my sister, and tomorrow, you step into a new chapter, but your heart will always carry the past with you." Their mother nodded in agreement. "And I will be here to remind both of you of the love we share, regardless of the changes ahead." Amara closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, and felt gratitude rise within her. This was not just a night before change, It was a testament to family love, shared guarantees, and the unwavering connection that would guide her through every uncertainty. With smiles etched on their faces and warmth anchored in their hearts, they finally settled, ready to face dawn. The pact was formed, uniting them under the stars with whispers of love that would endure and illuminate Amara's path through the uncertainties of her new life. Remnants of childhood. Amara woke to the soft glow of dawn filtering through her window, casting gentle shadows that danced upon her walls. Today was her wedding day, a day wrapped in promises and expectations, fluttering in the air like butterflies set free. As she slipped out of bed, anxieties began to creep back into her heart, but the warmth of last night's conversation with Nuru soothed her thoughts. Their pact lingered in her mind, a lifeline holding her firmly to her identity. In the kitchen, the aroma of breakfast filled the air, mixing with the sound of the family bustling about in a flurry of activity. Her mother, with a smile brighter than the rising sun, moved deftly, preparing dishes with hands that had always known the comforting art of cooking. "Come, my darling, eat something before the day begins," she urged, glancing up momentarily. Amara sank into her seat at the wooden table, the familiar grooves smoothing her racing heart. As she ate, her mother peppered her with words of encouragement, while Nuru joined her, his face serene yet slightly anxious, a reflection of the love and support that always existed between them. "Today, you should wear something that reminds you of who you truly are," Nuru said, pondering over the traditional attire that lay waiting in her bedroom. "Something that reflects our childhood. Remember when we wore those colorful beads and danced in the fields?" A soft smile creased Amara's lips as memories shimmered to life like the golden rays spilling across the room. "How could I forget? We thought we were dancing for the spirits of the lands." "Exactly. We were wild, free, and full of dreams," Nuru replied, his laughter infectious. "You need that spirit today. Don't let the pressure change you." Those words ignited a spark within Amara. She recalled warm summer evenings spent racing through the fields, the sweet sound of laughter mingling with gentle breezes, her heart as light as the flowers they used to crown each other with. In those days, they were fearless explorers with no boundaries, embracing the world as it unfolded in all its beauty. "Maybe I'll wear the beaded necklace Grandma made for me," she finally said, determination finding its way into her voice. "It feels like a part of me." "That's the spirit," Nuru exclaimed. "It will remind you of your roots. And besides, no one will ever be as radiant as you will be today." With breakfast finished and the laughter lifting their spirits, Amara retreated to her room to prepare. Wrapped in the anticipation of the day, she carefully selected her wedding attire, a flowing gown made from silk that shimmered like the morning dew, embodying tradition and elegance. To anchor herself in who she was, she chose to wear the necklace woven with colorful beads, each one symbolizing memories shared with her family. As she slipped it around her neck, she felt a rush of warmth, igniting memories of her grandmother's stories, told in soft tones that echoed through summers long past. The tales of bravery, resilience, and love had formed the fabric of her heritage, constructing the very essence of her being. When she stepped outside, the village was alive with the sounds of exuberant celebration. Colorful decorations adorned every corner, and the laughter of friends and family floated through the air, wrapping around her like a soft embrace. The rhythmic beat of drums underscored the vibrant energy, drawing her toward the heart of the festivities. Nuru stood beside her, a reassuring presence. "Are you ready?" he asked, studying her carefully. "Ready as I'll ever be," Amara responded, the weight of her worries beginning to dissipate. Together, they walked toward the gathering, where friends and family exchanged memories, their joy infectious. The ceremony was set to take place under the grand baobab tree, a guardian whose branches seemed to embrace the heavens. As they approached, Amara noticed Kofi standing among the guests, his kind smile lighting up his features. She felt an echo of familiarity and warmth, a connection that had been nurtured through shared moments under the sun, yet distinctively different from that bond she shared with Nuru. Here was the promise of partnership, of another life waiting to begin. Amara stood before the tree, the ceremony soon to commence, joy and trepidation coiling tightly in her chest. She caught her mother's reassuring glance from the crowd, a look that reminded her of the warmth within her family. Nuru stood resolute beside her, a steady foundation as they approached the threshold of combining lives. As Kofi met her gaze, A bolt of understanding passed between them, the unspoken acknowledgement of the journey that lay ahead. Her heart swelled, imbued with love, but memories of her childhood anchored her, reminding her that she was still Amara, sister, daughter, and now bride. When the officiant began, Amara listened intently, her heart balancing both excitement and fear. Yet, as she was surrounded by the faces of friends and family, their warmth wrapped around her, dissipating her fears. With their love, she could embrace this new chapter and still cherish the remnants of childhood ingrained within her spirit. Today, she would step into a new life, one filled with adventure and guided by the light of her past. In the depths of her heart, the shaky remnants of uncertainty turned into buoyant hope as the ceremony unfolded beneath the sheltering branches of their cherished baobab tree. Through each spoken promise, she felt the strength of her roots, unbreakable, unshakable, nourished by love and family. Whispers of fear. The morning sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm golden light on the world. Amara stood before the mirror, the reflection gazing back at her with uncertainty. Her wedding dress took shape around her, pooling around her feet like a cloud, but the radiance of the silk felt stark against the shadow of doubt that hung heavily in her heart. As she touched the intricate patterns sewn into the fabric, a design inspired by the wildflowers that dotted her childhood fields, memories rushed back. She recalled afternoons spent with Nuru, wandering freely, collecting petals to craft crowns, laughing without a care in the world. Yet today, laughter seemed distant. A thick veil of fear clung to her, whispering doubts as she wrestled with the enormity of what lay ahead. Amara, her mother's voice called softly from the hallway, filled with tenderness. The guests are beginning to arrive. It's almost time to prepare. Just a moment, Mama, she replied, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. When she turned back to study her reflection, she barely recognized the girl looking back. The girl in the mirror seemed poised and prepared, yet inside, she was a tempest of emotions. Thoughts of leaving her childhood behind gnawed at her. What if she forgot the girl who danced in the fields? She took a deep breath. The necklace of beads shone gently around her neck, reminding her of her promise to Nuru, to remember who she was. Steeling herself, she stepped out, ready to face the day. Downstairs, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Guests milled about, laughter and chatter intertwined harmoniously with the fragrant scent of food wafting through the air. Her mother moved gracefully among the guests, ensuring everything fell into place. Nuru, tall and protective, stood by the entrance, welcoming everyone with his warm smile, a rock amidst the swirl of activity. As she descended the stairs, Amara's heart raced. She felt like an unmoored ship, tossed in an ocean of emotions. Would her family adjust to this new reality? Would Kofi accept not just her, but the remnants of her childhood that paved the road for her existence? Nuru caught her gaze and immediately walked closer, sensing her unease. "You look beautiful," he said, his voice imbued with sincerity. "But I can see it in your eyes. What's bothering you?" "It's everything," Amara confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm supposed to start fresh, but I'm scared of losing myself. I don't know if I can do this." Nuru's brow furrowed in understanding. He reached for her hand and gave it a reassuring squeeze. "You won't lose yourself, Amara. You'll carry the best parts of your childhood with you. Our bond, our shared memories, they will never disappear. Those experiences shape who you are, and Kofi loves you for all that you are." Here, in the reassuring clasp of her brother's hand, Amara felt the tentacles of fear slip slightly. Yet, the pang of worry resurfaced as she wondered aloud, what if I can't be the wife everyone expects? The perfect bride? What if Kofi thinks I'm not enough? Nuru paused, thoughtfully weighing her words. "You're not a perfect bride, and life isn't about perfection. It's about love, support, and true partnership. Kofi chose you for who you are, not for some idealized version of marriage. Remember, it's okay to be humans." As his words sank deep within her, a flicker of encouragement ignited in her heart. She released a breath she didn't realize she was holding. Yet still, the whispers of fear lingered at the edges of her mind. "Look over there," Nuru pointed towards the gathering. "See how everyone is smiling, sharing love and joy. That's the essence of today, celebration of love, not perfection." Amara turned to see guests speaking animatedly, friends and family connecting, their expressions alight with joy. This was her community, where she had grown, where she learned the values of love and support. Taking another deep breath, she reminded herself of the promise she made, to carry her roots with her, to remain true to herself. "Thanks, Nuru. I needed that," she said, looking up at him, gratitude blossoming in her heart. "I guess I just need to let go of expectations and embrace what this day truly is." Her brother grinned, a glimmer of pride in his gaze. "Exactly. Now, let's go face these festivities together." Together, they stepped out into the sunlit garden, the sounds of celebration enveloping them. Amara felt the warmth of the day wrapping around her like a gentle embrace, comforting and persuasive. Yet, the quiet whispers of fear still tugged at her heart, reminding her of the vulnerability that came with love. As the ceremony began to unfold, with Kofi waiting patiently beneath the grand baobab tree, Amara felt her heart race with uncertainty. With each step she took down the aisle, doubts threatened to rear their heads. Would Kofi accept the woman she was, beads and all? Would he embrace not only the love between them but the fears that were etched into the fabric of her existence? Through the whispers of the crowd, the rustle of the leaves overhead, and the warmth of her family's care, Amara steadied her resolve. She squeezed Nuru's hand for strength and took in the sacred space before her, a blend of her past, present, and future. Yes, there would be moments of fear and uncertainty, but there was also hope, love, and the journey they would embark on together. With each step toward Kofi, she affirmed her pact with herself. She would step boldly into this new chapter, embracing her truth without compromise, even as the whispers of fear fluttered at the corners of her heart. Today was not just about becoming a wife, it was about remaining Amara, a weaving of childhood dreams, fears, and joyful possibilities enveloped in love. A brother's wisdom. The atmosphere surrounding the grand baobab tree was electric with anticipation. Colorful banners flapped in the gentle breeze, and the vibrant laughter of family and friends filled the air, creating a melody that harmonized with the rhythmic beat of drums. Amara's heart pounded in sync with the music, both exhilarated and unnerved as she arrived before the assembled guests and Kofi, who waited patiently at the altar. As she took her place, her eyes locked on Kofi, who radiated warmth and love. His kind smile seemed to reach inside her, chasing away the remnants of uncertainty clinging to her heart. Yet, as the officiant commenced the ceremony, those lingering fears slithered back, whispering doubts. Would she be enough for him? Would her quirks become burdens? But just as doubts began to overshadow her resolve, Nuru slipped closer, standing protectively beside her. He sensed her turmoil and leaned in. "Remember why you're here, Amara. You're marrying Kofi. You don't have to change who you are. You're perfect just as you are." Amara turned to her brother, his face a mixture of encouragement and sincerity. "But what if I can't be the wife everyone expects? What if I falter?" Nuru met her gaze firmly, a gentle confidence radiating from him. "Everyone has their fears, sister. Take a moment and breathe. This day isn't about fulfilling some ideal, it's about you and Kofi. Just focus on him, on the love between you." The words resonated deeply as the officiant continued with the ceremony. Nuru's presence felt like a steadfast anchor, reminding Amara of their pact, the promise of support and understanding they had forged the night before. Each breath she took filled her with a renewed sense of strength. The officiant spoke of love and commitment, urging Kofi to share his vows. As Kofi's voice came forth, smooth and steady, declaring his admiration and love, Amara felt her heart swell. He spoke of the sunny days and the shared laughter, recounting their moments together, their walks, the stories, and how she effortlessly illuminated his life. Amara saw the warmth radiating from him, and in that moment, her fears began to dissolve. Then it was her turn. Amara had prepared her vows, yet as she looked into Kofi's eyes, she felt the authenticity of her feelings brush against the surface. "Kofi, when I think of love, I think of you. You have embraced my laughter and my quirks. I promise to celebrate life's wonders with you, and to cherish the journey we embark on together." With each word she spoke, the rhythm of her fear began to change, a beat that matched the drum's pulse in unison with her heart. The weight of expectation lifted as she found her true voice, grounded by the love surrounding her. But as Amara stepped back to allow Kofi to speak, an overwhelming feeling washed over her. The essence of childhood, the joy and the innocence of carefree laughter, seemed to resonate within her, humming beneath the surface. But what if those remnants of who she had been collided with who she was becoming? Leaning slightly toward Nuru, she whispered, "Do you think I can be both the girl from the fields and Kofi's wife? Will I have to choose?" Nuru's gaze was steady as he searched her eyes. "You don't have to choose. You're both. Your past is a part of who you are and will always guide you. Embrace it. Kofi is marrying the whole of you, your laughter, your joy, your fears. It's what makes you uniquely Amarath." Just then, Kofi's voice rang out, powerful and sincere. "And I vow to be your partner through every adventure. Whether we're chasing sunsets or navigating storms, I will cherish you and stand by you. You are my heart, Amarath." All at once, the crowd erupted in joyous applause, yet Amara's world narrowed in on Kofi, the essence of her childhood mingling with the newfound excitement of shared lives. Love had the power to embrace the whole of her, the girl who danced in fields and blossomed into the woman standing before him. In that moment, the fears that had once consumed her began to fade. She could be Amara, the child of the fields, the sister, the daughter, and now a wife. Each identity flowed seamlessly, intertwined and vibrant, a tapestry woven with threads of love and laughter. Amara took a steadying breath, her heart swelling with a mix of hope and joy. Their hands intertwined as their vows were exchanged, the officiant speaking of union and love binding them together, making the moment feel timeless. With each word, Amara felt part of something greater than herself, a promise of shared dreams and adventures ahead. As the ceremony came to a close, they turned to face their loved ones. Nuru's proud smile caught Amara's eye, and she couldn't help but grin back, realizing the incredible journey she was about to embark upon. In that sacred space beneath the expansive baobab tree, amid the cheers of friends and family, Amara understood that love wasn't about perfection. It was about celebrating who they were together. In that embrace of community, she faced the world with newfound courage, ready to step forward as Amara the wife, unafraid of the beauty that lay in blending past and present, nurtured by the wisdom of a devoted brother at her side. The wedding eve rituals. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a brilliant orange glow over the village. Amara stood in her family's courtyard, surrounded by her closest friends and relatives. The air thrummed with excitement and a touch of urgency as everyone eagerly prepared for the wedding eve rituals, a time-honored tradition meant to bless the couple and usher them into their new life together. A large pot filled with fragrant herbs and spices simmered over an open fire, the aromatic steam wafting around them, carrying with it the promise of love and joy. Various fabrics hung from the wooden beams above, bright patterns swirling together like the colors of their lives, each thread representing a shared memory within the community. The decorations were vibrant, woven runner mats lay across the earth, covered with breathtakingly intricate beadwork, a nod to the craftsmanship of the village. "Are you ready for tomorrow, Amara?" a spirited voice asked, pulling her from her thoughts. It was her friend Tandy, whose laughter always seemed to fill the space around her, infectious and pure. With hair adorned in colorful tribal beads, Tandy's enthusiasm was palpable, radiating energy. "I think so," Amara replied, a smile tugging at her lips. But beneath her excitement was the familiar undercurrent of uncertainty. As the gatherings began, Amara's heart danced between joy and apprehension about the changes coming her way, all punctuated by the weight of expectation. "Tonight, we honor you, my sister," Tandy proclaimed, placing her hands on Amara's shoulders. "These rituals are essential. They are meant to wrap you in love and strength so that you carry it into your marriage." As the evening unfolded, elder women from the village gathered around Amara, adorned in traditional attire, their faces lined with wisdom and laughter. They began the ceremony by draping her in a bright shawl, embroidered with intricate symbols of life and prosperity. Each stitch represented a blessing bestowed upon her, a promise to nurture the love Amara would share with Kofi and to remain steadfast in the trials of married life. Amara felt the weight of the shawl settle on her shoulders, a tangible manifestation of the love and responsibility woven into the fabric. But as the women began to chant softly, she felt a twinge of doubt creep in. What if she faltered? Would she carry the weight of these blessings or allow the fears to burden her heart? Her grandmother's spirit lingered in the air, memories tugging at Amara's heart. If she had been here, she would have said, "The strength of a woman is woven not just in her accomplishments, but in her ability to love fiercely and to grow through life's trials." With that thought, impulse seized her. Amara turned to Tandy and whispered, "Will you help me find a way to connect with my fears and transform them into strength? I don't want to be just a bride, I want to be me, the girl who danced in the fields." Tandy's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Of course. Let's include a dance during the festivities. It will honor your spirit while embracing your roots. Our stories don't end, they evolve. Let's show everyone you're bringing your entire self into this marriage." The fire crackled, and a mixture of anticipation and determination pricked at Amara's heart. As the sound of clapping grew louder, Amara twirled, allowing Tandy to take her hand and pull her toward the crowd. With lively drummers picking up the rhythm, the gathering began to sway together, the energy lifting in a palpable wave. Amara felt the music seep into her being, calling upon the remnants of childhood, the laughter, the freedom, and the joy of spontaneous dance in the fields that had always been her sanctuary. The rhythmic pulse filled the air, and as Tandy's hands wrapped around her waist, Amara allowed herself to be swept away in a vivid memory of endless summers. They danced joyfully with the women, laughter cascading like water over stone. The movements called forth a vibrant connection to her ancestry, the dance of her grandmothers, the twirls of her childhood, the laughter shared with Nuru. "Let each twirl adorn you with strength." Tandy laughed as they spun in circles, the energy of their friendship echoing through the air like the music surrounding them. The laughter and encouragement from those gathered became a powerful chorus, lifting Amara's spirit higher with each beat. Amara felt the weight of her fear dissolve, replaced by a surge of resolve. She was not alone, the love of her community was woven into every aspect of the evening, strengthening her spirit and reminding her of the resilience she had always carried. With each clap and step, she embraced the power of shared history, affirming that while tomorrow would bring change, the essence of who she was would remain intact. As the evening wore on, the rituals shifted to quieter moments. Elders shared stories of love, heartaches, and enduring bonds, their words painting a vivid tapestry of lessons learned. Amara listened intently, absorbing their wisdom while reflecting on her own journey. She could feel the stories wrapping around her, creating an invisible shield of love and support. When one elder finished, another began, recounting tales that wove through the village's history, binding them all together. As the night deepened, lanterns illuminated the faces of her family and friends, casting a warm glow that reflected love, hope, and unity. Amara's heart swelled as she realized she was not just marrying Kofi, but also entering a lineage of love, a shared journey that embraced growth, laughter, and even vulnerability. When the final story was shared, Amara turned to face her gathering, the shawl of blessings still draped around her shoulders. "Tonight, I feel wrapped in the strength of all of you. Thank you for showing me how to embrace my past and bring it with me into my future. I am ready to dance forward into this journey, and I want to take each of you with me." Cheers erupted, and the rhythmic drumming intensified. Amara stepped into the center, wrapping her arms around her friends and family, feeling their energy mesh with her own. She began to dance again, embracing the joy infused by the blessings and laughter of her community. The night became a celebration of love, one that allowed her to shed her fears and emerge renewed, ready to step into her marriage as Amara, the girl of her childhood, and now, the woman she meant to be. Through the warmth of the rituals shared under the stars, she felt courage rising within her, lighting the way toward tomorrow. The ties that bind. The sun rose gracefully over the village, casting a warm, golden glow that permeated through Amara's windows. Today was the day. The morning of her wedding. The anticipation felt tangible, as if the air itself was humming with excitement. Yet beneath the surface, a poignant introspection began to unravel within her, a reflection on the deep-rooted ties connecting her to the people who mattered most. She dressed in her wedding attire with care, ensuring each lace and bead encapsulated the love she had for her family and the new life ahead with Kofi. The necklace of vibrant beads, a heartfelt gift from her grandmother, adorned her neck, an emblem of identity and heritage. When she looked in the mirror, her reflection beamed back a blend of the girl she once was and the woman she had become. At that moment, she realized that she didn't just belong to her past or her future, she belonged to both. As she made her way downstairs, the whispers of excitement surrounded her. Nuru awaited her at the foot of the stairs, his eyes glowing with pride and warmth. Clad in traditional attire, he had never seemed more handsome or more dependable. "You look breathtaking," he said, pulling her into a gentle hug. His embrace held the essence of their shared childhood, a reminder of nights spent under stars, weaving dreams together. "Thank you, Nuru," she replied softly, pulling back to meet his gaze. "I can't help but feel the weight of today. It's not just a new beginning for me. It's for all of us. The ties that bind us, Amara, are unbreakable," he said firmly. "Today is not only about you marrying Kofi, but also about all of us coming together. Our history, our family, is forever intertwined, and nothing will change that. You're stepping into a partnership, yes, but your roots will always be with us." Amara felt a surge of gratitude in her heart, appreciating the unwavering support of her brother. Over breakfast, the house became alive with laughter and joyous chatter. Her parents joined them, each moment a poignant reminder of their shared history. Her mother recounted tales of her own wedding day, the nervous excitement, the unconditional love she had felt, and the way her father had looked at her as she walked down the aisle. "Your father had never seen anyone more radiant," her mother reminisced, her eyes gleaming with nostalgia. "And here you are, adding your own story to our family's legacy. Remember, my love, that the foundation of a marriage is built upon love, respect, and understandings." Amara absorbed those words, the wisdom of her family reverberating through her mind. She felt buoyed by their support, yet the flutter of nerves still danced in her chest as thoughts of commitment and change loomed ever closer. After breakfast, Nuru guided Amara to the backyard, a place where they had shared countless memories. It was shaded by a mighty baobab tree, its trunk thick and branches sprawling, a symbol of resilience and support. Beneath its sheltering embrace, they had played, explored, and daydreamed, their imaginations unfurling like the leaves in the gentlest breeze. "Do you remember those summer afternoons?" Nuru asked, reclining against the sturdy bark. "When we thought we could fly if we climbed high enough." "How could I forget?" Amara laughed, recalling laughter shared in sunlight as they imagined themselves soaring above the village. "We climbed so high, I thought I'd fall. But we never did. We learned to trust and support each other," he reflected, his voice growing serious. "Those ties, our experiences, created bonds that will remain no matter how far apart we may go. They will guide you today and beyond." A flicker of anxiety flared within Amara. "But what if I lose sight of that?" "Life can be unpredictable, but the foundation you built together can never vanish," Nuru reassured her. "Kofi loves you for who you are, including everything you bring from your past. Lean on him as he leans on you. Remember, love is an active choice." With that meaningful comment, a sense of calm began to overshadow her earlier worries. She looked up at the branches swaying gently overhead, realizing their growth mirrored her own journey. Like the tree, deeply rooted and unyielding against the winds, she could embrace this new chapter without losing the essence of who she was. As the morning progressed, guests began to arrive, enveloping the family in a sea of joyful chaos. Lively laughter intermingled with the click of shutter buttons as friends captured each moment. Every smile, every tear, every blessing exchanged in the warmth of love. It was a celebration of not just Amara and Kofi, but of family, community, and the ties that bind. Later, when the time came to prepare for the ceremony, Nuru pulled Amara aside, speaking softly. "There will be moments today when everything feels overwhelming. If you need to breathe, find me, and we'll remind each other what today truly represents." "Thank you, Nuru." Amara felt a swell of appreciation for her brother, his steady presence helping ground her. As she looked around at the gathering, she felt the presence of everyone she loved. Their ties, these connections, were woven into the fabric of her existence, supporting her, even as she embarked on a new journey. As Amara and Nuru walked toward the heart of the gathering, she treasured the moment. Friends and family stood waiting, ready to witness this beautiful union. And as she took her place beside Kofi, bathed in the sunlight filtering through the branches of the baobab, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude flood her being. The ties that bind, woven through laughter, love, and connection, had brought her here today, and within that embrace, she knew she was ready for whatever lay ahead. The weight of expectations. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm, golden light over the village. Today marked Amara's wedding day, a day filled with love and joy, but also tinged with anticipation and an unshakable sense of responsibility. She stood in front of the mirror, dressed in the beautiful gown adorned with intricate embroidery passed down through generations. Although her heart fluttered with excitement, her mind was heavy with the expectations of her role as a wife. As she studied her reflection, she glanced down at the necklace of beads that her grandmother had gifted her so many years ago. The soft clinks of the beads as they brushed against her skin served as a gentle reminder of her roots. Each bead told a story, a history woven from laughter and wisdom, cherished traditions, and vibrant memories. Yet today, as she prepared to step into a new life beside Kofi, she felt the weight of what was to come settle upon her shoulders. Downstairs, the chatter of family and friends resonated with a lively rhythm, a joyful symphony of laughter and love. Guests from the village filled the house, eagerly discussing the ceremony and highlighting the beauty of their traditions. Amara could hear whispers of excitement in the conversation, how the reception would be the talk of the village for years to come, how the union of Amara and Kofi was destined to be the perfect match, and how their new family would bring prosperity to their home. Amara took a deep breath and ventured downstairs, where her parents welcomed her with open arms. "You look radiant, my daughter," her mother exclaimed, holding her close. "Today you will shine, and everyone will see how beautiful you make this union." As they moved to greet guests, Amara felt a tightening in her chest. She had always dreamt of this day, yet the realization that everyone was counting on her to fulfill their dreams weighed heavily on her spirit. Would she be the esteemed wife everyone hoped she'd be? What if she faltered in her new role? Tandy emerged from the crowd, her spirit as vibrant as her colorful dress. "Amara, you're the star of the day," she exclaimed, wrapping Amara in a tight embrace. "Everyone is so excited to celebrate you." With a smile that didn't fully reach her eyes, Amara nodded. "I know, but it feels like so much pressure. What if I can't live up to the ideal of what a perfect wife should be?" Tandy tilted her head, concern radiating from her expression. "You need to remind yourself that there's no such thing as a perfect wife. You're already amazing just as you are. Focus on love, and what you and Kofi create together." The sound of drums began to echo through the square outside, signaling the start of the ceremony. Guests began to gather, filling the area beneath the expansive baobab tree with excitement. Amara's heart raced at the sight of Kofi among them, his eyes sparkling with love and anticipation. He stood tall and steadfast, a source of calmness amid the chaos that surrounded her. As she made her way to the ceremony, Amara glimpsed the cherished faces of family members, the proud expressions of her parents and the unconditional support woven into the fabric of their lives together. Yet, as guests rose to applaud her, she felt the weight of expectation intensify. It was as if she were trapped under an immense, invisible weight pressing on her chest, obscuring her ability to breathe freely. Once they reached the altar, Amara took Kofi's hands in hers, feeling the warmth radiating between them. As the officiant began his opening words, she steeled herself, mentally repeating the promises they had exchanged in whispered moments. Yet as she focused on him, her heart drummed with uncertainty. What if fulfilling expectations meant losing herself in the process? She had always been the carefree girl dancing in the fields, laughing with her brother. Now she stood on the precipice of adulthood with the burden of others' dreams resting on her shoulders. With his gaze locked on hers, Kofi gently squeezed her hands, grounding her in the moment. "Amara, today is the start of our journey. You know I love you for who you are, not for who others believe you should be." Those words were like a balm to her restless spirit. The love in his eyes reminded her that the only expectations she needed to meet were those they set for one another. She took a deep breath, allowing the fears to dissipate, and focused solely on him. Kofi's presence anchored her, pulling her back from the edge of doubt. As the officiant spoke of love, partnership, and the beauty of their union, Amara let the warmth of the moment wash over her. The weight in her chest began to lift, replaced by a sense of belonging. The stories of her ancestors intertwined with her present, wrapping around her like the shawl draped across her shoulders, tying together her past and future. With newfound determination, she spoke her vows with conviction, pouring her heart into each word. "I promise to love and support you, to share our joy and our challenges. Together, we will create our own home, rooted in love, understanding, and respect." Amara saw the flashes of approval in the eyes of her family and friends surrounding them. In that moment, she realized that while their dreams for her held value, it was up to her to blend those dreams with her own truths, her own desires, and her own laughter. The ceremony proceeded, and as they exchanged rings and became one, Amara felt the shadows of fear begin to fade. She understood that expectations would always exist, but they need not define her. The bond of love shared between her and Kofi would provide the foundation for what was to come. When the officiant declared them married, cheers erupted, filling the air with joy. As Amara and Kofi turned to face their loved ones, she finally felt liberated, unbound from her past, empowered to explore this new journey, and ready to define her identity within the beautiful tapestry they would create together. With her heart alight with love, she took a step forward, ready to embrace the future as Amara, the daughter, the sister, and now the wife, authoring her own story alongside Kofi, fueled by the essence of family, love, and shared dreams. Bonds of love. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink as night descended upon the village. Laughter echoed through the streets, punctuated by the rhythmic beat of drums and the invigorating melodies of music wafting in the air. Amara and Kofi had just celebrated their wedding, surrounded by the joy of family and friends, but the festivities had only begun. Amara stood by the entrance of the grand pavilion that had been decorated for their reception, her heart still soaring from the depth of emotion she had felt during the ceremony. With every promise exchanged, she felt a profound shift within her, a reminder of how love could bind people together in ways that transcended expectations. Guests mingled under the twinkling lights strung from the trees, creating an enchanting atmosphere. The aroma of traditional dishes filled the air, inviting everyone to savor the culinary delights of the village. Amara's cheeks flushed as her family gathered around, welcoming her into the warm embrace of celebration. "Here comes the stunning bride," shouted an exuberant voice from the crowd. It was Tandy, her best friend, spinning around in her colorful dress, exuding pure joy. "It's time to dance, newlyweds." With reciprocal enthusiasm, Kofi took Amara by the hand and led her toward the center of the pavilion. As the music enveloped them, they moved to the rhythm, laughter rippling throughout the gathering. Amara's heart sang as she felt free to express herself, a fusion of childhood and newfound love, blissfully alive in the moment. The circle of friends surrounded them, clapping and cheering. Amara glanced around, soaking in the jubilant atmosphere, her heart swelling with gratitude for those who had come to celebrate their union. Each face reflected love, support, and shared memories that had woven their lives together like the intricate patterns on her wedding dress. When the first song came to an end, the guests broke into applause. Kofi leaned closer to Amara, his voice low and reassuring. "You are breathtaking. I'm so proud to call you my wife." A shiver of happiness cascaded through her. "And I'm so grateful to have you by my side, Kofi. I feel so loved, surrounded by everyone's." As the evening progressed, Amara noticed the elderly members of the family, sharing stories beneath the soft glow of lantern light. The strength of their love had spanned generations, an infinity of experiences marking their lives. Her parents, lost in their own world, exchanged knowing glances, their hands intertwined like roots anchoring a mighty tree. "Mama, can you tell us about your wedding day?" Amara fondly beckoned to her mother, who had always spoken of love with a sparkle in her eye. Her mother's face broke into a warm smile. "Of course. Your father and I were just kids, really. We danced under the stars, and I wore your grandmother's dress. It felt like magic. And through every challenge, we held fast to the bonds of love." She glanced at her father, whose eyes reflected a wealth of devotion. "Love is built on the little things, the moments that catch you off guard, the laughter, the tears, the shared sunsets." Kofi squeezed Amara's hand, eliciting a soft smile from her. She understood that their journey together would be filled with both joyous and difficult moments, but it was those very bonds that would strengthen their faith and bring them closer. As twilight deepened into a starry night, it was time for the traditional speeches. The village elders stepped forward, their voices resonating with wisdom. They spoke of love, partnership, and the importance of nurturing relationships. With each story shared, Amara felt the foundations of their vows settling into her heart. Then it was Nuru's turn. Amara's heart fluttered as he approached the center. Nervous laughter filled the air, and a sense of anticipation washed over her. "I never thought I'd have to give a speech on my sister's wedding day," he began, glancing teasingly at Amara. "While I waited for her to grow up, she always reminded me to embrace every moment, and today is no exceptions." Laughter erupted in the crowd as Nuru continued, each anecdote filled with warmth and playful jabs that only siblings could share. "Amara, you've always radiated love. Today, I can see how that love extends to Kofi. You both are perfect for each other. And I promise that no matter where life leads us, I will always be here for both of you." His heartfelt words struck a chord within Amara, mimicking the resonance of their childhood bond. Tears brimmed in her eyes, knowing how much this moment meant to her brother. The support that had lived in their hearts was echoed in a chorus of acceptance and promise, a reflection of their unbreakable ties. Later, as the night continued, Amara and Kofi danced under a canopy of stars. With each step, she felt the weight of expectations lift, the joy of love wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Kofi's laughter illuminated the darkness, drawing away the shadows of uncertainty. As they danced, Amara whispered to him, "It's incredible to witness the love that surrounds us." "We'll build our own love story," Kofi replied, gazing deeply into her eyes. One filled with shared laughter, kindness, and resilience. Amara nodded, understanding that love would bloom between them like the flowers of the fields where she had played as a child. It was an adventure waiting to unfold. The night stretched on, woven with the threads of shared stories, musical laughter, and the bonds of love unfurling and strengthening among community, family, and new beginnings. Each moment danced through the stars, reminding Amara that, as her wedding day faded into the horizon, her journey would be a melody of love, one that embraced both the depths of her past and the bright horizons of her future, forever grateful for the bonds that had seen her through. A morning of choices. The dawn broke over the village, painting the sky in delicate shades of pink and gold, and filling Amara's heart with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Today, she would awaken not just as Kofi's wife, but also as someone grappling with the complexities of identity and the choices that lay before her. Nestled in the pleasing warmth of her new home, she opened her eyes to the fluttering of curtains and the sweet sound of chirping birds outside her window. Beside her, Kofi slept peacefully, his face relaxed, unaware of the myriad thoughts swirling through Amara's mind. The night before had been a beautiful celebration of love, yet as the reality of their union set in, she felt the weight of decisions looming ahead. Amara slipped out of bed and padded softly to the window, gazing out at the familiar landscape of her village. Sunlight kissed the vibrant flowers in the garden, inviting her to embrace the day. Yet, the pressures of her newlywed life began to creep in. She had dreams, aspirations, and responsibilities that would demand her attention. What did it mean to be a good wife, to nurture a marriage, while still honoring the girl who had skipped through fields, dreaming of the future? The aroma of breakfast wafted from the kitchen, pulling her away from her thoughts. Just as she rounded the corner toward the kitchen, she bumped into Nuru, who grinned at her presence. "Good morning, sister. How does it feel to officially be a married woman?" he teased playfully, his eyes sparkling with warmth. Amara chuckled softly, the corners of her lips curving upward. "I suppose it feels like a beautiful dream, and also a daunting reality." Nuru nodded, sensing the underlying weight in her voice. It's okay to feel both excitement and uncertainty. After all, every new journey comes with its own choices. In the kitchen, her mother was busy stirring a pot over the fire. The smell of warm bread filled the air, mingling with a sense of comfort and familiarity. Amara felt her heart soften, grateful for the nurturing presence of her family on this important day. "Good morning, my dear," her mother exclaimed, turning with a smile. "Today will be special. It's your first morning as a couple. I've prepared your favorite breakfast, so come and eat with us." They sat around the table, sharing laughter and relishing each bite of the bountiful spread. Despite the warmth of family surrounding her, Amara's thoughts drifted back to how the choices she would make today would shape the future she envisioned with Kofi. "Mama," she began hesitantly, "how did you make choices when you first got married?" Her mother looked contemplative for a moment before answering. I think the key is communication and staying true to who you are. Your father and I learned early on that life was about compromise, but also about nurturing our own identities within the relationship. Amara listened intently, feeling a sense of clarity emerge. They had navigated challenges, always finding a way to embrace who they were as individuals while loving each other unconditionally. The notion ignited a spark of inspiration in her heart. After breakfast, Kofi joined them, his face glowing with a fresh morning energy. Today may be our first day together as husband and wife, but it is the first of many adventures. I want to hear your dreams, Amara. What do you envision for our life together? His sincerity wrapped around her like a warm embrace. Taking a deep breath, Amara gathered her strength to share her thoughts. I want to foster our home to be a place of warmth and laughter, and I dream of starting initiatives in the village to uplift our community. I want to bring people together through workshops on agriculture and culture, celebrating who we are. Kofi listened intently, his smile widening the more she spoke. That's wonderful. I think your desire to intertwine our lives with our community will help us grow together. Let's make that a priority. Amara's heart swelled with gratitude for his enthusiasm. But I don't want to lose myself in the responsibilities of marriage. I also want to maintain my identity, the girl who danced beneath the stars and ran through the fields. Kofi nodded, a serious expression crossing his face. You won't lose yourself, Amara. I promise to support you. We embarked on this journey together, and I want you to thrive. There it was, his commitment resonated deeply within her. Amara felt like she could breathe a little easier. This was, after all, a partnership born from love. But even as warmth spread through her, she grappled with a nagging concern. What if she struggled to balance the diverse aspects of her life, unable to follow through on her aspirations? Sometimes, making choices means letting go of things too, Nuru interjected gently. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're strong enough to prioritize what matters to you. His words sunk into her thoughts. Letting go of anxious thoughts, letting go of preconceived notions about what a wife should be. Confidence began to flow as clarity formed around her. After breakfast, Amara stepped outside to breathe in the fresh morning air. The village was waking up, bustling with activity, and for the first time in a long while, she felt hopeful. Today would not only mark a step into her marriage with Kofi, but also a step toward embracing her dreams alongside him. As Kofi joined her, he took her hand in his, grounding and steady. Are you ready for whatever comes our way today? With a smile that radiated newfound strength, Amara nodded. I am. Let's embrace every choice, every moment, and all that we are together. Together, they headed toward the heart of the village, walking hand in hand. Choices awaited them, both big and small, but as they ventured into the day ahead, Amara felt lighter. The demons of doubt had been quelled by love and support. Their journey as partners would lead them to create a beautiful life, one rooted in both individual aspirations and their shared dreams. A tapestry woven from love, laughter, and the choices that lay before them. The ceremony of new beginnings. The sun rose brightly on the day of Amara and Kofi's wedding, illuminating the village in hues of gold and amber. Excitement crackled in the air as villagers began to gather around the grand baobab tree, a revered symbol of strength and endurance. Decorated with colorful fabrics, flowers, and countless garlands, the ceremony site radiated joy, and the murmurs of anticipation flowed like a gentle breeze among the guests. Amara stood in front of her mirror, adorned in her wedding gown, a flowing dress that hugged her figure while intricately showcasing the craftsmanship of her ancestors. Every stitch, every bead upon her fabric told stories of love and hope. As she slipped on her grandmother's necklace, Amara felt a sense of connection to her past and the legacy of strength that she carried with her. Are you ready, sister? Nuru stepped into the room, his eyes gleaming with pride and a touch of nostalgia. He wore traditional attire that complemented the vibrant atmosphere around them. Amara turned, meeting his gaze in the reflection. I think so. But sometimes it feels surreal. I'm scared of what lies ahead, of expectations and responsibilities. His expression softened as he stepped closer. Change is daunting, but you've already faced so much. Remember, This day is about love, commitment, and starting a new chapter. You're marrying into a partnership marked by trust, support, and shared dreams." Those words enveloped her like a warm embrace, reminding her of the pact they had formed during their childhood, a bond that transcended everything. Amara squared her shoulders, determination blooming in her heart. "You're right. I'm ready." As they made their way outside, the joyous music and laughter of family and friends echoed through the village. Guests gathered in vibrant ensembles, clapping and singing as they celebrated this special occasion. The atmosphere was charged with excitement, hearts racing in sync with the rhythmic beats of drums. When Amara reached the site of the ceremony, her breath caught in her throat. Kofi stood beneath the baobab tree, looking dashing and proud. His eyes sparkled as they met hers, and for a moment, nothing else existed. She felt an overwhelming tide of love crash over her, soothing her nerves like the gentle waves of a river. The officiant stepped forward, a respected elder from their village, his presence commanding silence and respect. Today was not only a union of two individuals but a celebration of their families and the community that surrounded them. He began by sharing the significance of love, a bond that tied them through shared experiences, dreams, and aspirations. Amara's heart swelled as the elder spoke of the lessons learned from the past, illuminating how the roots of love grow deeper and stronger with each challenge faced. Her longing for acceptance, her fears, her laughter all blended into the fabric of this moment. As the officiant continued with the vows, Amara and Kofi exchanged heartfelt promises, pledging to support one another through life's joys and trials. Time seemed to stand still, and with each word spoken, they wove a tapestry of commitment, a new beginning born from the essence of their shared identities. "So, I give you my heart, my courage, my laughter, and my dreams," Kofi declared, his voice resonating across the assembled guests, who nodded in approval. Amara felt the warmth radiate from within her. "And I vow to cherish you, to grow together, and to share all that life has to offer, together as partners." Tears glistened in the eyes of many, and the couple was surrounded by a surge of emotion. In that moment, all doubts faded away, replaced by pure, unadulterated love. As they exchanged rings, the elder expressed the blessings from their families, inviting the elders to step forward and wrap the couple in a traditional shawl adorned with symbols of unity. Amara felt the weight of their history rest gently upon her shoulders, a tangible manifestation of love and connection that would guide them as they built their lives together. With the exchanged vows, the couple faced their guests, hearts entwined, marking the moment of their union through joyous applause. Cheers erupted, and Amara beamed, letting laughter spill forth, feeling liberated and profoundly happy. The elder raised his arms, signaling the community to join hands, linking hearts and spirits. "Today, we bind you together not only as husband and wife but as a part of our families." As hands intertwined, Amara understood now that their journey would not be taken alone. Each person present under the majestic baobab was a thread in the fabric of their lives, stitching love and support, hopes and dreams, laughter and tears. "Your love will grow like this tree," the elder continued, "rooted deeply, reaching for the sky, strong against the storm. Now go forth, and let the world see the beauty of your union." As the ceremony drew to a close, Amara and Kofi turned towards each other, their eyes reflecting the shades of love that surrounded them. They were bound not just by vows, but by purpose, dreams, and the vision of a shared life. As they walked hand in hand down the aisle, Amara felt the sunlight warming her face and the joyous cheers of well-wishers lifting her spirit higher. Today marked the beginning of their adventure together, a celebration of love that would continue to grow, thrive, and deepen as they rooted themselves in their hearts and community. They stepped into the new chapter, ready to embrace all that was yet to come, surrounded by the intertwined bonds of love that would hold them steady through the beautiful journey ahead. Love beyond change. The sun cast a soft golden glow over the village as Amara and Kofi returned home after the joyous celebration of their wedding. With laughter still ringing in their ears and the warmth of love wrapping around them, they stepped into their new life together. A beautiful haven filled with tenderness, anticipation, and the thrill of the unknown. As they entered their modest yet cozy home, Amara paused to take in her surroundings. The walls were adorned with color and texture, a meld of her childhood memories and Kofi's heritage, each item telling a story of love and commitment. Together, they would create their own chapters within these walls, weaving their identities into a tapestry of shared dreams. Yet, deep within her, Amara felt the lingering echoes of transformation looming on the horizon. "You know," Kofi began with a hint of lightness in his tone, "I feel like we should celebrate this new beginning properly. How about a feast tonight?" Amara turned to him, her features softening. "That sounds wonderful. But I want to make sure we don't lose sight of what our true priorities are amidst all the excitement. I don't want to forget the promise I made to cherish our individual journeys." Kofi stepped closer, his expression thoughtful. "That's exactly what I love about you, Amara. You care deeply about our life together, and I want to nurture those elements too. Let's make it a day of choices, one where we celebrate unity without sacrificing our individual passions." His words resonated throughout her, grounding her in the moment. Amara felt grateful that Kofi understood her desires and was open to building a life that respected their individuality. That very concept had initially weighed heavily on her heart. The idea of losing herself within the confines of marriage had loomed as a shadow, a worry she was ready to dissolve. As morning melted into afternoon, they worked together to prepare the feast, laughter spilling over every dish they cooked, almost choreographed in nature. They shared stories, exchanged playful jests, and savored moments filled with compassion, each action grounding their relationship deeper. "What do you envision for us?" Kofi asked surprisingly as they chopped vegetables together. "What do you want our life to look like in a year? 5 years?" The question caught her off guard, and she pondered for a moment, stirring the pot bubbling happily on the stove. "I want to deepen our involvement in the community, host workshops, help with farming techniques, engage in cultural exchanges. I envision us creating a space where people feel safe to share their stories and celebrate our heritage." "Beautiful. I can see us making an impact," Kofi agreed, passion igniting in his voice. "And on the home front, I want our space to be filled with warmth and laughter, an open invitation for friends and family to gather." As they shared their dreams, Amara felt the bonds of love tighten, wrapping them securely as a unit even amid the tides of change. Decorated with symbols of their unity, the dishes soon filled the table, a feast prepared with heart, highlighting both of their strengths. Later that evening, they welcomed loved ones into their home, and the atmosphere transformed into a vibrant celebration of life, a joyous blend of laughter, cherished stories, and unity. Close family and friends gathered around, their voices mingling like a gentle tapestry woven with thread and song. Amara watched as Nuru engaged in a lively discussion with their neighbor about farming techniques, while Tandy danced playfully, encouraging laughter from the crowd. Each connection felt real and powerful, reaffirming the importance of both love and community in their lives. As the festivities continued, Amara found a quiet moment outside on the porch, looking up at the stars twinkling in the night sky, the same stars that had seen her dance as a child. She took a moment to breathe, relishing the peace that washed over her. Kofi stepped out, wrapping his arms around her waist, a comforting presence against the cool evening air. "You okay?" he asked softly, his breath warm on her ear. "I am. I was just thinking about how far we've come and how much there is still to explore together," she said, her voice a mix of wonder and determination. "Change is inevitable, but it feels so much easier to embrace with you by my sides." "You've always embraced change, Amara. It's part of who you are," he reassured, his voice steady. "And I'm honored to navigate it with you. Together, we'll define what this journey means for us." Amara turned in his embrace, looking deeply into Kofi's eyes, which were filled with love and understanding. "I want us to nurture our individual passions, but I also want to embrace our new beginnings. Can we promise to never lose sight of our dreams or ourselves?" "Absolutely," Kofi asserted, holding her gaze. "In every twist and turn, through laughter and tears, we will strengthen our love by respecting our identities and ensuring they flourish together." The promise hung in the air around them like an unbreakable thread, binding their hearts even closer. Amara reached out, intertwining her fingers with Kofi's, feeling the warmth of their united bond, beautiful and intricate. A promise to embrace the journey they had started together. As laughter danced on the night breeze, the stars bore witness to their love, a love that would carry them through every change, every choice, and every heartbeat shared. Though the future remained unwritten, Amara had faith that it would be a journey overflowing with joy, challenges, and the enduring spirit of love, forever woven together in their hearts.